Thomas Jefferson said, "I know no safe depository of the ultimate powers of the society but the people themselves. And if we think them not enlightened enough to exercise their control with a wholesome discretion, the remedy is not to take it from them, but to inform their discretion by education. This is the true corrective of abuses of constitutional power." An enlightened citizenry is indispensable for the proper functioning of a republic. Self-government is not possible unless the citizens are educated sufficiently to enable them to exercise oversight. It is therefore imperative that the nation see to it that a suitable education be provided for all its citizens. We, the people, have been robbed of this education, and the purpose of National Liberty Alliance is to provide that education. Our plan: establish a jury pool in all 3,142 counties. When exhausted, we will draw jurors from the voters' rolls. There will be no litmus test or psychological evaluation through a questionnaire form. Jurors are to be drawn at random from a pool within the accused county or state. Grand jurists are to be impaneled no longer than 1 week, except when an investigation requires a longer term. Also, they may be recalled to determine rare, extraordinary decisions during the pretrial. We, the people, will establish 4 full-time administrators whose job is to orient jurors and answer questions for both trial and grand, answer complaints from the people, and perform as an investigative body on behalf of the grand jury. All jurists are to take the following vow, to be recorded with the county administrator. I vow to the Governor of the Universe, in my capacity as jurist, to ensure that all public servants uphold the United States Constitution and Bill of Prohibitions, and to carry out all my deliberation under natural law, principled under justice, honor, and mercy, and to strictly adhere to the following 2 legal maxims. 1. Every right one withheld must have a remedy, and every injury its proper redress. And 2. In the absence of a victim, there can be no crime, corpus delicti, and the state cannot be the victim. Some people claim, or have been taught, shall I say, that the Lord doesn't allow us to take an oath or a vow. But the Bible is clear that our conversations are to be nay and yea, but there are times when we need to take an oath or a vow. In Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 4 through 5, we read, "When thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay." So I think this is important enough that everybody that's going to participate must take a vow. And of course, we expect that our servants take the oath. We have set up an educational program here on the National Liberty Alliance, and everyone should go through this process. And you could spend an hour a day or 5 hours a day, 5 days a week or 7 days a week, but everyone should be constantly educating themselves in the things that they should have learned when they were in school. But in any event, it is most imperative that all of the jurists, all of those who are going to become administrators for the common law grand jurist, that they do go through this entire course that we've set up. So we probably want to start first is under the jurist tab. There are 7 or 8 items under this tab, and you'll want to go through all of them. We do have a national plan, but we did not put that down. We didn't write that up yet. We'll write that up once the states are pretty much all constituted and we start to enter into the courts. But in any event, we've got 7 items here: jurist orientation, why we must act quickly, questions and answers, state plan, slavery by consent, jurist documents, and how to start a jury. And all of these tabs are extremely important that everybody go through these. and particularly in this Jurist Documents area, there's quite a few documents, and people should come back to this page from time to time because we'll be adding new documents as we move along. Under the Courses and Essay tab, we have American History Lectures. We have Common Law Access Course, Constitutional Classes, Trial by Jury, an essay, Letters to Oath Takers, Common Law Lectures, Harmony of the Gospels, and we've got quite a few books up there. A lot of the books we have in MP3, so they're read, but we also have the PDF copies. Now, the Court Access course is an important course that everyone takes in order to understand the process and the paperwork of how to write a paper to get into the court. Should you have a court case, everybody should be able to defend themselves. And this is something we should, of course, been taught in school. All these courses we should have been taught in school. The trial by jury essay is a real must. Anybody, particularly that is going to be an administrator, definitely should do this course, and probably early on. It's about 15 hours of audio on this course. It's an essay, but it's a course. And we do have the entire book written. It's a PDF copy you can get right up online, the same page. But this trial by jury really gives you some insight in history going all the way back to when the grand juries and trial juries really began. The Common Law Lectures is also a very important course. It gives you very good insight on what exactly common law is and how a common law court goes forward. But all of these courses here are important, and again, everybody should do these courses over time. But again, those who are going to become administrators need to be spending a lot of time, as much as possible, to get through these courses. And a lot of them, if not all of them, should probably be repeated a couple of times to make sure that you understand what the process and the procedures and how common law works. Under the services tabs on our website, you can order Jurist Handbooks. You can hand them out to oath takers, oath keepers, bureaucrats, and liberty groups. This is probably one of our most important tools. It's a pocket handbook that people can carry around with them and refer to them from time to time. And especially if you're in a court, there's a lot of good court cases in there that you can use to support a lot of cases. There's a lot of codes that you can use, particularly codes, of course, that control the bureaucrats and commercial law. So anyway, this is something that we should have quite a few copies of. We should be handing these books out to all of the oath takers as soon as possible. We should be getting them out to, our sheriffs and our bailiffs, the deputies of the sheriffs, of course. We should be getting them out to the county clerk and the court clerk, the judges, and so on. And then, of course, out in the streets, so to speak, we should be getting them out to the Liberty Group leaders and to the Liberty Groups. If we give us a talk in the Liberty Groups, maybe about National Liberty Alliance and about the common law grand juries, we can hand these booklets out. We tried to make them as affordable as possible. You can go up onto the tabs and under this tab, service tabs, and you'll find the price. We'll make it cheaper as time goes on. The more books we sell, the cheaper they'll become. I think right now we have it set up for a minimum of 100 at 65 cents a piece, and that includes delivery, tax and delivery. Then there's 500. I think we're selling them for 60 cents a piece. Again, that includes delivery, and if you buy 1,000, it's 55 cents, I believe, a piece, and again, that includes delivery. Obviously, it'd be cheaper for everyone if they're buying only hundreds. Maybe some people will buy a couple of hundred. Maybe some people will buy 500. But you can kind of combine your order and save money by buying 1,000 at a time. So quite a few people can kind of chip in and do a purchase of 1,000, and you can get them at a better price that way. Then you just have to get together and pass them out. Under the courses and essays tabs, we've got lots of books. We all need to read. Education should be a lifetime enjoyment for everyone. So we should never really stop. Once we get through all of these courses that we talked about in this particular recording, then you should start reading books. And I think a lot of these courses are prerequisite for a lot of these books in order to read them. And again, you need to put in as much time as you possibly can. And again, especially if you're planning to become an administrator, you definitely have to get through these courses and at some point get into the reading. Thomas Jefferson said, educate and inform the whole mass of people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. And he said also, if a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be.